Tonight, a cynical power play. That's how Republican Senator Ted Cruz describes the push for the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. As Democrats make a renewed push for the voting rights with the bill, which would make it easier for the Justice Department and minorities to challenge election rules that they believe are discriminatory.
If state legislators and others are going to defame and diminish our democracy, we in the Congress have a duty to defend it.
This bill is a disaster. Why change what has worked for 240 years?
We know that the John Lewis bill, let me just step back, will stop states with a history of racial discrimination from rolling back voting rights in the future.
This bill is an assault on democracy. This is a power grab. It's cynical, and it's wrong.
Out front now, Stacey Abrams, former Democratic candidate for governor in Georgia and the founder of Fair Fight Action, which fights voter suppression. So you heard Senator Grassley say this bill is a disaster. Senator Cruz calling it an assault on democracy, a power grab by Democrats. What do you say to them?
Well, I would first point out that Senator Grassley referenced a 240-year history where it has taken multiple constitutional amendments, multiple federal laws, and untold number of court cases to ensure access to democracy. And unfortunately, in the wake of the 2020 election, we have watched 48 states try to pass laws. We've had 19 successfully do so to roll back access to the right to vote. And so it's been 240 years of fighting to simply have access to the right to vote for so many Americans who should be entitled to it via their citizenship. As for Senator Cruz, the only cynicism is a cynicism to stand in a state like Texas, which has taken it upon itself to outdo almost every other state with its attack and assault on democracy and access for communities of color, to suggest that protecting access to the right to vote and defending the freedom to vote, that those are cynical acts, unfortunately, is a partisan response and not a patriotic response. Patriotism says that we defend the right to vote no matter who needs to use it, and that's the work that we are doing, and that's the work of the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the Freedom to Vote Act.
So let me ask you, because there's some people watching who may say, okay, Democrats tried really hard and Congress failed to get this done, so that just was another thing they failed to do. But this is the fourth Senate hearing on this session of Congress on voting rights. And as I said, they failed before to push through the more sweeping For the People Act. There have been no signs since that failure that 10 Republican senators are going to back this bill, right? Because you need that filibuster-proof majority in order to get it through. Why do you think this time will be different and this will succeed?
I would reject the notion that we've seen failure. What we've seen is movement. Each time there has been the argument that there is no way to move this bill forward, we have seen senators come to the table and take action. We have seen Senator Joe Manchin put forward a framework, and when we were able to work collectively to meet those concerns, we saw his name go on that bill, and we saw the Democrats in the Senate stand up and say together that they are willing to protect the freedom to vote. And what we need to do now is to continue to push this forward. I watched your earlier segment on the debt ceiling, and the reality is we are in a bit of a Groundhog's Day with the conversation of democracy. We keep having to have these fights. But luckily for me, luckily for millions of Americans, when we continue to fight, we win. And in this fight for fair elections, this fight for freedom to vote, we believe that if we keep pushing and if we invoke the spirit of those who've pushed this so hard, we will get to the promised land and we will get to the finish line and finally have a minimum set of standards for the right to vote in the United States. And we will have the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act that restores a pinnacle of achievement for our democracy, and that is ensuring that the most vulnerable among us have access to the right to vote.
So as you speak out, there are many who listen, some who support you and some who do not. So one of those, well, at least one of those used to be former President Trump. But he recently invoked your name multiple times at a rally in your state of Georgia, and he slammed your Republican Governor Brian Kemp for refusing to back Trump's big lie and overturn the election. Here's what he said.
When Stacey Abrams says, I'm not going to concede, that's okay. No problem. Oh, she's not going to concede. She's not going to concede. Of course, having her, I think, might be better than having your existing governor, if you want to know the truth. Stacey, would you like to take his place? It's okay with me.
Okay, so of course you ran against Governor Kemp. But now you've got the former president out there saying these things about you. Does him invoking your name like this help or hurt you?
It's irrelevant. His posture is not relevant to the work that I'm doing or to the positions I take. My responsibility is to do what I can to ensure that no matter who you are and no matter who you choose, that you have the freedom to vote in the United States. And that is why we have to keep laser focused on the assault on our democracy, an assault that not only happened on January 6th, but has happened again and again since that time in state houses that have restricted access to the right to vote and constricted not only that, but the ability of election workers to do their jobs. We are seeing election workers being put under direct assault.
Yes.
And that is something we have to push back against. We have to stop the subversion of our elections. And because we're in a generational moment of redistricting, we have to ensure that every single voter has the right to pick their leaders, not be picked by their politicians based on who they think they'll vote for.
So, but on this front, and obviously you pointed out the violence against election workers. You've seen that in your own state, right? Against election workers at every level, regardless of their politics and regardless of who they voted for in the last election. There has been so much speculation about what you're going to do now that you may run again against Governor Kemp this year. You haven't ruled it out. Where do you stand tonight?
I stand on the side of passage of the Freedom to Vote Act and the passage of the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. And I'm very intentional about this because we have to stop treating this as one more political battle. This is a battle for the soul of America. This is a question of whether we will be a democracy that can be looked to by other nations as a symbol of what we can be, or if we are going to be seen on the downward
Do you
side
think, though,
of authoritarianism.
you can get 10 Republicans on board? I know you're trying to present it as you've seen progress. And I hear why you're doing that, because you're able to have it come back and you got, I get how you're talking about it, but yet you have to get 10 of them. And right now there's not even one.
I spent 11 years in the Georgia State House, 11 years in the minority. And what I can tell you is that there are strange bedfellows every day on legislation. But more importantly, when you are fighting for fundamental rights, when you are fighting for the freedom to protect our democracy and to have access to that democracy, we don't have the luxury of cynicism. We don't have the luxury of giving up. I do not know. I cannot say today exactly how this will come together, but I will tell you that I will spend every single day from now until it does to make sure that we are protecting our freedoms here in the United States, and that means the freedom to vote.
All right, Stacey Abrams, thank you very much.